Hey guys, today we're doing a bit of filming of my training day and what goes on in sort of preparation for these Hyrox events, what kind of training I do, the kind of ins and outs of my day leading up to this stuff. It's pretty full on, it's a lot of training, it's exhausting, but I love the variation, the variety in the training, and yeah, I hope this kind of shares a bit of light on what some of us elite Hyrox athletes do in a day, and hopefully learn something for your own training. This island that we're running on today is like a 1.1k loop. So this morning I got some threshold running intervals. So it's going to look like 8 times 1 lap, so it's going to be about a 4-minute lap, and then we'll take a 48-second rest after each one. The way I do my threshold runs, the rest time is always like 20% of the work time. So with a 4-minute interval, we're looking at a 48-second rest today. And yeah, so I've done my couple of laps warm up. I'm just going to change my shoes now and get ready for starting the intervals. That one was 3:44, so I think I'm a little psyched on that one to run too fast, so I need to slow it down a bit. I imagine that was a bit quicker than threshold.
So what was your goal of pace?
Like in the high 3:30s. Pretty sure that would have been a little under 3:30, so yeah. 15 seconds and I go again. 1 down, 7 to go. 5. Same pace again. As you can see, I'm not trying that hard. No, I'm pretty stuffed already. 4 down, 4 to go now. I find it tough to pace outside. I usually start too fast, and then I'm too proud to dial it back a little bit. So, I mean, I'm in it now. I'm just going to try to hold these paces. Running outside on the concrete, it's not quite what I'm used to. I didn't manage the paces so well in the beginning. It's easy on the runner because you can just set the pace and lock in, but I'm not so experienced with running outside with the paces, so it took me a couple of intervals to get the feel of what my threshold pace was. I went too quick at the beginning. Yeah. Still going? Yeah, like the hard stuff is done there. What I'll do now is kind of a couple of Ks, 10-15 minute cool down jog, and then we are back in the gym. We've got a couple of like kind of a CrossFit Metcon and a bit of upper body strength to do still this morning before we coach the lunch classes, and then can relax a bit. Yeah. Okay, running session done. We are back now at Tahi CrossFit. This is my gym. Got everything I need for Hyrox CrossFit training. We're about to hit a small CrossFit Metcon, I would say. It's probably about a 7-8 minute workout with deadlifts, burpees over the bar and toes to bar. And then we're finishing off this session with a bit of a upper body pump, really, some upper body strength, and then done for the morning session. Okay, so like a big part of my training is these kind of typical CrossFit style workouts, I would say, like Metcons. For me, that's nice because I come from like quite an extensive like CrossFit background, so I'm very familiar with all the movements, and I'm efficient through all the movements. So it's nice to be able to just hit these style of workouts confidently and really just focus on moving smooth, right? Like these type of workouts aren't our sport like it is in CrossFit. So the purpose of having them in my training is more so to just keep that movement efficiency, planes of motion through every range, and just accumulate that strength, endurance, and also that blood shunting, right? So what that means is I'm doing deadlifts here. Okay, a lot of blood's being moved into my hamstrings, my back. Then I'm going to knock out some burpees. Okay, my body's got to react to that change and be able to then pump blood to my sort of core and shoulders and everything. So these CrossFit circuit type workouts are a beautiful addition to the training. I probably do one of them every day. So now I'll just warm up a little bit into these deadlifts. The deadlifts will be at I think 85 kilos for sets of 8 reps, 10 reps on the toes to bar, and 12 reps on the burpees over the bar, and I'm going to do that for 4 rounds. My intention here is not to absolutely send it and destroy myself. I'm just going to try and move smooth, unbroken reps with like a little bit of intensity. It should feel a little easier than my running session earlier, but very different stimulus, right? So yeah, we'll get into a bit of a warm up.
Is this your daily routine?
It's pretty standard. This was a short one. Just kept it smooth and steady. That was nice. Nothing there that's gonna really tax me too much. Just get a good bit of volume through these functional movements. Bit of breathing. Keeps things sharp and firing. Now we have a bit of an upper body pump session to finish off the morning session.
How do you push through? Do you train alone, or are you preferring to train with someone?
Yeah, good question. For me, I do 95% of my training alone, just because my schedule doesn't really allow for much compatibility with other people's schedules. I'm coaching people when they're not working, so I can't train them. And yeah, like my training times are where most people are sort of working in their day-to-day jobs. So yeah, unless they're super flexible and can choose their working hours, then it's tough for me to really train with people. I had a few members of the gym transition from job to job, and they had a couple of months off during the summer. So this past summer I had a couple of the boys training with me for quite a lot of my sessions, which for sure makes a difference. Like motivation wise, it's nice to have someone beside you. Doesn't matter if they're doing the same thing, the same weights, the same paces, doesn't matter. It's just nice sometimes to have someone else working out in the gym. I might be doing a running session on the treadmill and somebody's doing some bench press. Doesn't matter if they're in the gym, you can chat between sets, whatever. It's a nice environment to train in. Yeah, but my schedule kind of it's perfect for me to just train by myself most of the time. I literally live 30 meters away, so accessibility in and out of the gym, getting meals, coaching, it's real easy for me. Yeah. Okay, so last piece this morning is just a bit of upper body strength, I guess bodybuilding or functional bodybuilding style. This is just a good way to kind of hold a bit of muscle mass and strength in the upper body. It'll be a little lower intensity. I'm going to do a set of strict dumbbell press. Sets of 10, I'm going to try with the 20s. I'll just do a warm-up set with the 15s. 5 pull-ups. Pull-ups is a pretty good movement for me. I'll probably do sets of 5 with the big red kettlebell, the 32, and then dumbbell curls. I don't really do those that often. It's kind of frowned upon in the CrossFit world, but it's on the program, so I'll do it. I'll probably use the 15s on that for a set of 10 on each arm. We'll see how it feels for the first set at least. We'll go through 4 rounds, but just at a cruisy pace. We'll rest in between each movement and chip the way through. So easy. You know, something I find really hard to do is make my face look good when I'm straining, pressing something overhead. So sorry about that.
The straining doesn't have anything to do with it. It's just all the time you have this problem.
This is big coming from someone who has the biggest, baddest lifting face out of anyone in the box. Sean takes the gold medal in Tahi CrossFit for straining face. You know, doesn't matter what he's doing. Might be warming up, doing a few little banded exercises. He's straining. You know, you see the tension on his face.
I'm getting a workout. I'm getting those facial muscles. You know,
something I've failed as a coach is teaching him how to relax the muscles he's not actually using. So his face, he doesn't need it for a lot of these exercises, but he's adamant about still straining it, working it. Okay, so that's morning session done. Now, take a bit of fuel. We've got 25 minutes until lunch classes kick off. I'll coach 2 classes, 12 and 1. Today's more of like a strength focused day for the class. On Fridays, that's always the case. And then, we'll have some lunch. Walk the dog and get back in here in the afternoon to do it all again, another session. In the afternoon, our session involves some rowing threshold intervals, so pretty hard effort for a bunch of rounds on the rower. And then we've got some power cleans, jumping lunges, kind of an EMOM style, to build up a bit of power and strength. And then something else after that, we'll see. So we just started our first lunch class. I've sent them on a little warm-up run. For the warm-up, what we want to focus on is just elevating the heart rate a little bit, get the blood flowing using a bit of aerobic work. So we've got a run in there today, and then we'll just go through a few sort of mobility, range of motion exercises. So we make sure that everything's firing that we need to for the work ahead. So today we've got some power snatches on the menu, followed by back squats and box step-ups. And then a few sort of accessory strength holds to finish off. So Fridays we always do kind of a strength session. So the members know that they're not going to have to come in here and breathe super heavy on a Friday. We're lifting heavy though. So like a big part of my job as a coach with these guys is I really try to emphasize like good movement quality, right? So we want to make sure that they're not going above and beyond with the weights, they're in good control, they're moving safely, So this just enables them to have longevity in their training as well and slowly progress over time. There's no point like going balls to the wall too hard, too heavy with ugly form. They're going to burn out and hurt themselves quickly. So yeah, movement quality and kind of scaling the movements, the reps, the weights for these guys is crucial, right? Working on the bottom position of our snatch. Now we're going to start from the top, alright? We're going to do a set of 4 on each of these positions. Elbows down, same wide grip. Press the lockout, control down. Press, control down, and then dropping under into our power position. Okay, feet under the hips, I'm sliding into my squat stance. Punching underneath, straight arms, nice and balanced. Stand, reset. Okay, so 4 without the drop, just a press, and then 4 with the drop. So our gym here in Basel, it's obviously like people speak Swiss German, Swiss people here, but somehow our gym has a lot of foreigners. There's a lot of people that work in the like Novartis, Roche, in that field, and they're expats. So we have a ton of nationalities in this gym, and English is actually kind of the easiest way to communicate with everyone as a whole. So luckily for me, I don't need to use my terrible German. Yeah. With those step ups, we want to get all the way to standing on one leg before the other leg meets it. So we're not here and standing up through both legs. We're leaning into that front leg, driving the foot through the ground, or foot through the box, returning to the ground. Other side, all the way straight, back to the ground. Yeah, so for me, coaching, it definitely is exerting a lot of energy. I've got to be like onto it mentally, engaged. I'm doing a lot of moving around and active coaching. So it's definitely not a relaxing time. Yeah, I'm not got the heart rate super high, but it's not relaxing. Yeah. A lot of endurance sports, a general rule of thumb is this 80-20 rule, where 80% is just aerobic volume. Your heart rate's relatively low and you're just moving and getting that aerobic benefit. And 20% is more sort of threshold, high intensity, VO2 max, interval style training. With Hyrox, I mean, my training, I would say, is split between running and kind of CrossFit, right? CrossFit entails a lot. It entails power, strength, endurance, functional bodybuilding, metcons, max lifts, powerlifting, like Olympic lifting. Like it entails a lot, so that's pretty broad, and that's probably half of my training. When I think about the running side or the engine work side, sometimes I'll like it's not all running. I've built to a level now where a lot of my conditioning or the cardio training is running, and my body can handle the load of running. But utilizing the Concept 2 machines, biking and eco bikes and things like that is a good way to add on extra volume of conditioning and engine building, but without the impact that running has on the joints and the lower leg. So risk of injury is less. But yeah, with the 80-20 rule, I would say if you just look at the bulk, like all of my engine or running work, it would be pretty close to that. It might be more like 70-30, right? I would also get another 2 runs throughout the week where it's more around 60 minutes of easy aerobic running, often finishing with a few strides or a little bit of a harder effort just at the end of it. So yeah, I would say 3.5-ish hours of easy running in the week. And that's not including because I have 3 quality run sessions as well. And those quality run sessions, like we did this morning, the threshold running, I'm just accumulating like 30 to 40 minutes at the hard effort pace. But I'm also getting another 30 minutes of like warm up, cool down. So there's a bit of volume there as well. I'm getting often like 5 or 6K of easy running on my hard running days. So yeah, that adds up for sure. I wouldn't say the way I have done Hyrox training for the last 3 years has been perfect. I tend to keep volume quite high all the time. I'm just comfortable and enjoy like the sustained high volume, maybe just slowly, incrementally raising it up over a very long time. I don't take big off seasons or big deloads. When I do have a race coming up, especially like an elite race, I do start tapering back. Really, it's just like a week out. So the week of the race, if it's on a Saturday, I'll start like Monday, just dropping a little bit. Recently, I've more been keeping the frequency of my training on that week, but dialing back on the volume and the intensity. So instead of doing 1.5 to 2 hour session in the morning, it might just be 45 minutes, right? Doing similar stuff, getting some intensity, touching on some paces, doing a bit of lifting, but it won't be the amount, the duration. So just allowing the body to kind of reset, recover, still have a bit of stimulus, still make sure. It also helps with the digestive system and everything, right? My body's so used to training then, twice a day, whatever. So it just keeps me like regulated. So I don't feel lethargic or slow, or, you know, if you fully go from training every single day and then you take 2 days off, like I'll feel really flat and slow, and like it's weird for my body to deal with. So if I just keep the system running basically, but just dialing it back a bit, that's kind of how I would deload for a big race. For the last few months, I've been working on a program, working with the hybrid engine, which is Lauren Weeks and Anthony Parasini. They're a couple that are, Lauren is the world champion on the women's side. Well, she's a 3-time world champion on the women's side, and Anthony's her husband and coach. And he's really knowledgeable with all things kind of hybrid fitness. Comes from a CrossFit background as well, similar to me. So we have a very similar line of thinking, and I've seen that in all of his programming that I've been following. A lot of what I'm doing under his program is what I was doing anyway. The threshold running, the CrossFit Metcons, the power, the strength, like it's all very similar stuff. It's nice to have it all laid out for me now though, so I'm not constantly like kind of second guessing myself. I just have full faith and trust in what he's laid out, and I just chip my way through it all, right? And it seems to be working. It's a little more volume than I have done in the past, but the body is withstanding it really well, and so there's no reason I wouldn't keep going with it right now, yeah. I'm obsessed with the process. I'm obsessed with the potential results. And yeah, I prioritize training over a lot of things. I really work my schedule, work everything around making sure that like training happens, right? I've got to coach, I've got to sleep, I've got to eat, and I've got to train. Other than that, you know, like I do my best to try to make time for people, for places, for other experiences, but if it's really going to interfere with training and the process, then it's usually taking the back seat. I'm in bed at 10 o'clock every night. It has to be 10 o'clock just because of when I finish coaching classes and things like that, and then making dinner, shower, eating dinner. I'm a slow eater. I'm trying to pack in as many calories as I can. So 10 o'clock is kind of the time where no matter what else is going on in the day, like I can get to bed at 10 o'clock, and I make sure that happens every night. And then the morning, yeah, I'm lucky that I don't have to get up super early, so I'm not one of those 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. Workout people. Luckily, I have a job that enables me to get up in the 7:30, have breakfast and walk the dog, then start training. I'm training usually about 3 hours. All right, like now that becomes at least 8 hours of sleep I need, and another couple of thousand calories. You know, so I'm usually, I don't count it. I have counted in the past calories, and by counting it in the past, I have a very good idea of what it entails to hit over 4,000. So I would say I'm very consistent with like in the mid 4,000 calories every day. About 170, 80 grams of protein within that as well. If I could choose one training for the rest of my life to be good at Hyrox with, it would be the 40-minute EMOM format of a workout. So I was talking to someone recently about this, and I've actually been programming a 40-minute EMOM in our classes for the gym every week for the last 6 weeks. I think it's just a beautiful balance of like working on movement efficiency. You can blend a lot of different movements together. You can get that aerobic element. You can ramp up the numbers and the rep targets and make it really like thresholdy as well. So what a 40-minute EMOM is, for example, minute 1 you have 15 calorie bike erg, minute 2 you have 20 push-ups, minute 3 you have 20 calorie row, minute 4 you have whatever, burpee pull-ups, 8 reps, and you do 8 rounds of it to make 10 rounds of it to do 40 minutes, right? You can have a minute rest in there, so those other minutes can be more intense to make it more like anaerobic. So just that format of workout, I think you can develop crazy level of fitness and like remain touching on a lot of different movements. You can make it more power or strength based, so you can do, okay, you're echo biking 1 minute, you're doing like heavy back squats, 3 reps on the next minute, you're doing rowing on the next minute, you're doing like a couple of heavy power snatches, like, you know, so you can really adapt the workout nicely. And I think it's just a beautiful format for just like really well balanced fitness, and that 40-minute time domain is a really good one for like that duration of Hyrox, but also not crazy long. You can just hit it within an hour session every day if you want, you know. So that's what I'd choose.